The first scream comes from somewhere deep inside the city, where steel and glass meet human panic. It cuts through the night like a signal, a warning that the world you knew has already started to rot. The air tastes of metal and smoke. Somewhere, a siren dies mid-howl. You look up and see the skyline flickering in chaos. Civilization is crumbling faster than anyone thought possible. Subscribe to Think What If for more stories that push your imagination to the edge.
Began in the lab, a discovery they couldn't control. The official story is a lie.
No one knows how it started. Some blame a government lab. Others whisper about a parasite hidden in the jungles of the Congo. But scientists have long warned that nature doesn't need permission to evolve. There are viruses alive today that can rewire behavior, hijack the mind, and strip away the very thing that makes you human. Rabies, for instance, travels through nerves to the brain, turning fear into violence. The Ophiocordyceps fungus, found in insects, controls its host completely, forcing it to climb before death. Each infection is a lesson in control, a reminder that biology doesn't care about morality.
Quickly that night, but the terror spread even faster. A new sickness was loose on the streets, and the only cure was distance.
When the outbreak hits, your first instinct is to run. But where? The city is a maze of concrete and flesh. Every shadow hides someone who might already be infected. The power grid flickers, elevators stop mid-floor, and the smell of decay begins to crawl through the air vents. You hear gunfire echo between buildings, followed by silence. In an urban jungle, survival means constant movement. Food runs out in hours, water in days. You begin to understand that comfort was the most dangerous illusion of all. Across the countryside, the story unfolds differently. Rural towns seem calm at first. Wide fields, open sky, distance between every house. But silence can deceive. The virus travels faster than news. One truck driver, one handshake, one bite is enough. And when night falls, darkness stretches endlessly. No streetlights, no neighbors to scream for help. The rural survivors must face isolation itself, and that can be as deadly as any infection. Scientists study what could make this nightmare real. In 2012, researchers modified the rabies virus in a controlled lab, testing how small mutations could alter transmission. In 2019, a team in China experimented with brain parasite hybrids that altered rodent aggression. None of these were meant for harm, but curiosity often walks close to danger. Imagine a virus that spreads like flu, but attacks the brain like rabies. Imagine it surviving in animal reservoirs, waiting for the perfect mutation. The question isn't if nature could create it, the question is when. The city becomes a furnace. Streets overflow with abandoned cars. Drones, once used for delivery, now broadcast evacuation messages. Every glass tower becomes a death trap. You climb to the rooftops and see the fires spreading block by block. In cities, humanity's strength was always density. Now that same closeness is a curse. One cough, one drop of blood. You start counting your breaths. You wonder who's left to count theirs. In the rural zones, survival shifts to endurance. You hunt, you scavenge, you build fences out of old tractor parts. Infection doesn't spread as quickly here, but when it arrives, there's no hospital, no medicine, no rescue. You learn to bury your dead quietly, to sleep lightly, to trust no stranger. And the loneliness grows heavier. You start talking to yourself. You start listening for voices that aren't there. Civilization feels like a distant rumor. Biologists warn that the real enemy in any outbreak isn't the virus. It's the collapse of systems. Without electricity, refrigeration fails. Without fuel, transport halts. Without communication, panic mutates into violence. Cities fall fast because they depend on order. Rural regions fall slowly because they depend on connection. Both become arenas of survival. Both reveal what humans become when stripped of rules. Weeks pass. The infected no longer look like monsters. They look like neighbors, family. You realize the transformation isn't just physical, it's psychological. Some researchers once studied Toxoplasma gondii, a parasite that makes rats lose their fear of cats. In humans, it's linked to risk-taking and altered empathy. A parasite that erases fear. A virus that amplifies rage. Together, they could build the perfect storm. And storms always find their way inland. The city survivors form tribes. They mark buildings with paint, symbols of allegiance. A red X means danger. A white line means supplies. You move through the ruins with quiet steps, scavenging batteries, canned food, clean water. Every reflection in broken glass looks like an enemy. The sound of your heartbeat becomes your only rhythm. You repeat one thought again and again. Keep moving, keep breathing, keep human. In the rural outskirts, survival begins to take on ritual. People boil river water, set snares, and trade salt for bullets. A farmer discovers an old radio transmitter and hears fragments of broadcasts. Government remnants are attempting containment zones. But no one trusts them. No one trusts anyone. Fear has become the new infection. It spreads faster than blood. You can feel it in your pulse. What would you do now? Stay where resources still exist but danger is constant? Or run where safety seems close but survival is raw and brutal? The divide between urban and rural collapses in the face of biology. Everywhere becomes an ecosystem. You are prey or predator. There is no middle ground. Months into the outbreak, the virus begins to mutate again. Scientists studying it from bunkers notice something unexpected. The infected begin forming patterns, moving together as if coordinated. It mirrors a phenomenon in nature called quorum sensing, seen in bacteria and ants. Behavior spreading like thought. Consciousness emerging from chaos. Maybe evolution isn't finished yet. Maybe this isn't extinction, but transformation. You remember the old world, its comfort and arrogance, how we built walls of technology to keep nature out. But the irony cuts deep. It was inside us all along. Every cell carries the code for both creation and decay. The infection didn't come to destroy humanity. It reminded me what survival truly costs. Cities burn. The countryside is empty. The sky turns the color of smoke and storm. Yet somewhere, in the ruins of a hospital, a young biologist keeps working. She injects samples into petri dishes, hoping for a cure. Her generator hums quietly. Around her, the infected press against the glass. The world outside screams. But in that small room, science still whispers. What if the same force that ends us could also save us? The question lingers. Who survives the zombie apocalypse? The ones who fight? The ones who flee? Or the ones who adapt? Evolution never stops. It only changes direction. Cities or fields, concrete or soil, every survivor is part of the same experiment now, and nature is still running the test. Night falls again. The fires fade to embers. You sit in silence, watching the horizon tremble. The air is still heavy with the scent of decay, but somewhere distant, a single bird calls. Life endures. It always does. The question is whether humanity deserves to endure it. Keep moving, keep breathing, keep human. Subscribe to Think What If for more worlds you should never forget.